Good morning, children. Let's continue. Page number 37. Ebright and his college roommate, James R. Wong, worked all that night drawing pictures and constructing plastic models of molecules to show how it could happen. Together, they later wrote the paper that explained the theory. So, Ebright and one of his roommate, whose name was James R. Wong, they worked all night and they draw pictures and they construct plastic models to show what they have find out, because they have to prove it to the world. So, and that can be proved only not by showing just the pictures, they have to show it by making some models. So they worked whole night for that, and finally they were able to show it to the world that how it all happened. And together, when they were successful in that, then they wrote the article that was published in the journal, which we have read in the beginning of the chapter. And that article explained the theory about how the cells work. Surprising no one who knew him, Richard Ebright graduated from Harvard with highest honors, second in his class of 1510. Ebright went on to become a graduate student researcher at Harvard Medical School. There he began doing experiments to test his theory. So, there were so many students since he was in the Harvard University. He graduated from there and he scored very well. He stood second in his class of 1510. So there were so many students who even don't know that Ebright is a classmate of us, and because they don't have the classes all together. So some of them even don't know that one of our classmates has done such a great job. And he graduated from that Harvard Medical School, and after that he began his experiment to test his theory. If the theory proves correct, it will be a big step towards understanding the processes of life. And the theory on which he was working, if it comes out to be truth, or if he proved it, it would be a big step, of course, in understanding so many processes of our life. It might also lead to new ideas for preventing some types of cancer and other diseases. It will help us to find out the causes of the cancers, so many other diseases, and it will also lead to the treatment of such diseases. All of this is possible because of Ebright's scientific curiosity, and it was possible because of the eagerness, because he was eager to know what are the reasons, what are the causes, and what are the diagnoses of these such type of diseases like cancer. His high school research into the purpose of the spots on a monarch pupa eventually led him to his theory about cell life. And it was all because he raised his question on the spots, why the golden spots were there. And he tried to find out that definitely there is some reason for it. And from there, the curiosity grows and grows, and finally, it led to find out the theory about the cell life. Richard Ebright has been interested in science since he first began collecting butterflies, but not so deeply that he hasn't time for other interests. Ebright also became a champion debater and public speaker and a good canoeist and all around outdoor person. He is also an expert photographer, particularly of nature and scientific exhibits. So, Ebright was not only interested in science, rather, and he was interested in many other activities also. And it was not so that he remained busy in his science work only and he has no time for other activities. Rather, he has equal interest in other activities also. He was a good debater, a good public speaker, and a good canoeist. Canoeist is, it's a very slim boat, and a person who paddles that canoe, a very light boat it is, that is a canoeist. So he was a good canoeist also, and in all round activities also he took keenly part in those activities also. He was a good photographer, and he shoots generally of nature and scientific things. In high school, Richard Ebright was a student, because learning was easy. He turned a lot of his energy towards the debating and Model United Nations Club. So when he was in high school, he was simply a student, and he was very much interested in learning, because for him learning was very easy. And he spent almost all of his energy in debating, and he was a member of the United Nations clubs also. He also found someone to admire, Richard A. Wearer, his social studies teacher and advisor to both clubs. So, his SS teacher, he always motivated him, he encouraged him, and he always appreciated him. And because of that, he became such a good all rounder student. Mr. Wearer was the perfect person for me then. He opened my mind to new ideas, Ebright said. And Ebright also praised his teacher by saying that he was a perfect person who encouraged me, who opened my mind to other ideas also. So his mind was not confined to science only, rather he took interest in other activities also. Richard would always give that extra effort, Mr. Wearer said. What pleased me was here was this person who put in 3 or 4 hours at night doing debate, research, besides doing all his research with butterflies and his other interests. So what Mr. Wearer said about Richard, that Richard always gives some extra effort. Although the normal efforts are done by all the students, but Richard, he always gives some extra effort. And because of this, Mr. Wearer was always pleased with him, and he was pleased because he was the person who put his efforts in 3 or 4 hours at night doing debate, a discussion you can say, in which people express their views, research, besides doing all his research with butterflies. Means along with doing his researches with butterflies and his other interest, he also spent 3 4 hours at night in doing discussions also. So he gave importance to all activities along with his interest. Richard was competitive, Mr. Wearer continued, but not in a bad sense. He explained. Richard wasn't interested in winning for winning's sake or winning to get a prize. Rather, he was winning because he wanted to do the best job he could. For the right reasons, he wants to be the best. So, Mr. Wearer further said that Richard was very competitive in nature. But that was not in a bad sense, it was in a positive way. He was very much positive in his attitude. He was competitive. He always tried to win, not because for the winning's sake or just to get a prize. Rather, he had a purpose to do the best. And since he always does his best, so he always got a prize. He was winning because he wanted to do his best job. And since he always has a right reason, and because of this right reason, and because of his positive attitude, he does his best and he always win a prize. And that is one of the ingredients in the making of a scientist. And this is the most important component of being a scientist. Start with the first rate mind. So for becoming a scientist, what you need is the main ingredients, or you can say the components of being a scientist, a good scientist are, first of all, you should have a first rate mind. Means you should have a good mind. Add curiosity. Then you should have an eagerness to know new things. And mix in the will to win for the right reasons. And these things mixed with your willingness to win. And winning should be for the right reason, not for just getting a prize, but to do the best. So these are the things. If you mix all these, you will be a perfect scientist. Ebright has these qualities, and Ebright has all these qualities. From the time the book, The Travels of Monarch X, opened the world of science to him, Richard Ebright has never lost his scientific curiosity. And when he was a child, he had read that book. And after reading that book, the world of science was open to him. And after that, he never lost his curiosity, his eagerness to know more and more new and new things. And it was all because of his curiosity that he was among the best scientists of the world. That's all, children. I hope it is clear to you. If you have any doubts, you can ask me. Have a good day.